obviously because there's good margaritas and a whole lot of good Mexican food. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and different. I mean, you know, you walk into one place and it's a different salsa, different experience than in another place. So, but the last time we decided to kind of explore up on top of the Riverwalk
Okay, okay,
around the streets around the Riverwalk.
okay.
So, um, we found a couple of pretty good places up there. We really did. I can't remember the name of the bar, but they actually have a mixed drink flight, right? And so, yeah, I know it was interesting because it was they were really a lot of there was really a lot of colorful drinks. You'd probably like it, you know.
Here we
Your
go.
umbrella
Here
this
we
year.
go.
So,
Here we go.
but yeah, it was really, I can't remember the name of the place right now, but they had a flight, and they normally wouldn't sell it to less than four people. It was like six, probably 4 ounce or 6 ounce different drinks. So
Hmm.
I mean, you had 24 ounces of mixed drinks, and so it's like, you know, we Gina and I were there, and we talked them into letting us have one that, you know. So we had a flight between the two of us, but it was good, and we found some little shops and stuff up there.
You know,
So you know, we're kind of planning that that'll be our we did our 25-year anniversary in October, and so we're hoping to go this year to celebrate that 25 years. So
you know, big shout out San Antonio and everybody down there, Animal Care Control. You know, we've been going there for years. You know,
yeah,
former coordinator, and you know, booked that for us, and we love San Antonio. I know I love it. Love all the people down there. It's easy to get around once you fly in. You know, go under, you know, the Beltway and stuff like that. Head out on 35, I think 35, 37, and we go to the little La Quinta. I don't even know if they even still have that La Quinta
we
anymore.
we, we won't go to the La Quinta when we get back. All right? That one's done. We'll do something different. I
Okay.
promise.
That's an inside joke, guys. That's an inside joke. We went to one when we was doing we was down in West Palm Beach, and my room looked like a crime scene. And I said, yeah, okay. I had to take the shower curtain off and put it on the bed, right? Because I was working. John, John, it was bad. I said, this is ridiculous. So I had to roll up in a shower curtain and sleep like that, right? So I looked like a plastic chalupa, okay? So, you know, I was like this clear, wrapped up thing, and I'm black, so I look like this black creamy filling. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, okay. And after that, you know, you was like, yeah, we can't be doing this because we have stayed in
Yeah,
some.
we
All right.
yeah we can, you know, we're gonna have to jump up a hotel chain or two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have. The one in Amarillo wasn't bad. Okay, the one in Amarillo, no, was it Holiday? It was something like that. Because I know they got bought out. But the next one is, are you a good teammate?
You know, I think I am. You know, I'm never going to say that I'm perfect at it, and I have my days.
Hmm.
Um, you know, from a from a boss perspective, it's an interesting balancing act. You know, because you're in that place where, you know, what can you do to help the people that work for you?
Hmm.
How can you help make them better? How can you help them achieve their goals, whatever they might need to be doing? But at the same time, you know, you have to make sure that you're following through with what your bosses expect as well.
Hmm.
So it's that balancing act. So, you know, I'd say most of the time, yeah, but there are times where you know, it's sometimes it's not a democracy. You know, sometimes
Somebody has to make a decision,
exactly.
and
That's
you
right.
might
Yep.
not like the decision. I'm so clear. You know, like I
Yeah.
said, when I was in a position of authority over several people, you know, the one thing I always try to be is a good communicator, clear and cut, and so you can understand what we're doing. And I try to take you along in why we're doing it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I try to get a lot of
Yeah.
answers out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and don't get me wrong, you always have that one person that will kind of like, well, I don't understand, or why this and why that, and you just want to smack the hell out of them, but you can't, you're just like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna explain this, and I get with you after we break, okay? Because you're asking time out,
Yeah.
okay? But here's a question.
Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that the big thing as far as that's concerned is, look, everybody wants to know why, right?
Mm,
Everybody wants that why question answered. So, if there's something that needs to be done, I need to be able to say why it needs to be done,
sure.
or if we need to change up or we need to do something different, there needs to be a why involved. I mean, it's just like when we're answering calls out in the field, the people we're dealing with do far better understanding what's going on if we answer the why question.
Sure.
It's one of those things where, as a police officer, we always used to have this hidden thing of, hey, do you know why I stopped you? Right? You walk
Right.
up to a car, hey, do you know why I stopped you? Well, if I'm a driver, I'm thinking, well, you better know why you stopped me. I don't know why you stopped, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
you kind of open it up for conflict from the very beginning. When instead, really what you do is you walk up and you say, hey, I'm Sergeant Worden with Columbia Police Department. I stopped you because you ran a red light.
Right.
I've answered the why question.
Already.
Now they can disagree. But I've answered that why question. And I think that's an important part of being a good teammate and being a good boss.
I appreciate that, because when I got with you guys, and I've been with you guys for a long time. I met Bill Stevens, and he made me an instructor. I might have been a teacher before. I might have been a presenter, but Bill made me an instructor, and he made me understand the importance of lesson plan, preparation, and making a test question. Oh my God! Don't even start me with that nonsense, okay? But it's how you deal with people. And now that I'm older, I have some experience. And I always say this in most of my, when I'm doing my podcast: tone and delivery. How you go to somebody is your tone. And sometimes you're, because what's it? 85% is nonverbal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How you said that's a test question, right? I should get that. I should get that test question right every time, right? As many times as I taught it and I've taken. Okay, but a lot of us. And let me hold up. I'm gonna come back to that. Let me get that last question out. Are you a dog or cat person, and why?
I'm a dog person. I don't know. I think they just, they kind of fit my personality a little better, kind of in your face a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a dog and a cat right now, but the cats just. Cats are just always kind of a little bit aloof, and they really don't care whether you're there or not. And, they kind of look at you like, well, yeah, it's that old thing. Look, if I die with my cat in the room, she's going to eat me. If I die with a dog in the room, it'll at least be a couple of days before they get hungry. The cat will eat you out of spite. The dog will at least wait until they're hungry.
Bro.
I mean, so anyway, but I've always been kind of a dog person.
With your experience and everything like that, and the changing times of policing, because I'm trying to get my son on, because that'll be a 3-part series. I don't know how to actually do that, because he did 911 where he receives the call. He did policing as a patrolman where he does the call. Now he's a death investigator with the medical examiner's office, where he gets the after effect after the call. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's going to be a very good interview whenever I get him. With today's policing, and don't get me wrong, a lot of stuff, and I preface it with this: policing should have evolved, but a lot of things, a lot of old school things, it wasn't bad. It might have need to be changed. Since you run an academy on policing, what do you think about the now, the future, and the past?
So I agree. I think part of what policing is it's what the expectation of the local community is. So what they expect from the police in DC is completely different from what they expect the police to be in Columbia, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And to take that even further, within the city of Columbia is the University of Missouri. And I would say that what the city of Columbia expects from their police is different than what the University of Missouri community expects from their police. So even within the same community, I think there's different expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gone. We've certainly made progress. Have we made progress or as much progress as we need to? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But I think what hinders the progress is the fact that police are humans. And so we have all these human things that interfere with our day. I mean, we have the sickness and the illness, and our kids that are having problems in school or having problems with classmates, or all of those things that can interfere. I mean, I can remember when I was on the Columbia Police Department, I was a field training officer.
Right.
And they wanted to give me a recruit in the middle of while I was going through a divorce. Oh, well, nice. I was having a hard time dealing with just me. I didn't want the responsibility of being a field training officer at the same time. So they were good enough to say, okay, yeah, you're right, we shouldn't give you one. So, but we also have to understand that. I mean, cops are human, and they have bad days just like everybody else does, mm-hmm. right? And so that doesn't excuse excessive force. Absolutely, it doesn't. And while we're kind of there, this thing that recently happened in Memphis, it has nothing to do with police. It has nothing to do with police training.
I agree.
There was nothing about that incident that was about police training. It was about bad hiring, bad supervision, bad policy, bad something. But it wasn't the training because that young man was beat down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing within police training that tells you to beat somebody down. And so, yeah, so I think in the future, I think we've got to figure out how to allow the next generation to do policing a little bit the way they want to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up in a generation that, you worked at the same place for 30 or 40 years and then you retired. Mm-hmm. That's just not how it is now. We were okay with missing birthdays and holidays and weekends and all of those types of things. Yeah. These kids aren't, and you know what? I have no problem with that. I mean, look, I can't blame them that they want to spend more time with family or friends, or they don't want to work every weekend night, or they don't want to work every holiday. I get all of that. So we've got to figure out how we can adjust the way we do things to fit the current workforce.
With
that's gonna require some different train or different ideas.
Well, okay. So my thing is like this, and I've been around law enforcement for damn near 30 years. I was under law enforcement when I was doing cruising investigations, ACL, stuff like that when I was in Georgia. I've been with you guys for at least 12, almost going on 13 years. So I understand policing, and what gets me is, and it's the evolution. Before, and I always say it, before it would be, I ask you, I tell you, I make you. That has changed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, and a lot of people don't understand force one continuum where the officer has the power to, go an extra level to subdue the suspect and stuff like that. A lot of people don't understand the technical differences where, like, hey, or how things are perceived. Everybody thinks that you can negotiate. Some things you can, and that's discord, and that's de-escalation, verbal judo, stuff like that, micro mannerisms. It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. And I tell people, officers have nanoseconds to figure out which toys, aka equipment, to use in a situation, because when you're responsible, when you pull your weapon out, when you pull your gun out, it's a difference right there. There's a game changer when you have a taser, you have a Kuberton, you have an Aspeton, you have your vest on, you have your. I always say officer presence is number one, all right, and then you can go from there, all right. And but a lot of people are like, well, A, B, C, D. It's not always A, B, C, D. It's just not, okay? And I've seen a lot of. And my thing is like this: we can all play morning quarterback. There, you're